folks. Welcome to the first ever Duster and Bender show. Going to talk hockey, more specifically Blue Jackets hockey. But I'm Duster, and joining us from the rink in Toronto is my friend Bender. How you doing, Bender?
Hey, great, Duster. Good to see you, buddy.
We hope to have some fun with this. Just two old car guys talking about hockey. And neither one of us have ever played, although you were quite the roller hockey star, if I remember right from talking.
Oh, yeah. That's how I began my career and love of the greatest sport on earth.
We're going to try and this is being our first show. This show is what we're going to be calling the 5-minute major, where we discuss 4 or 5 different topics, try and get everything done in about 5 minutes time. So Alan, keep me posted on a clock if you know when 5 minutes is up for us there. But outside of the top 4 teams in each conference, the East and the West, who do you think of as the team to watch in each conference?
Well, obviously I'd say the Columbus Blue Jackets perhaps are the most dangerous, and don't call me a homer, but when you look at it, losing the stars that they did last year, giving them up, and then basically were written off, completely, to be able to overcome so many injuries, devastating injuries to their top players, and still remain in the hunt. I mean, that in itself is a pretty awesome feat. I'm not going to take anything away from Toronto. Toronto is a very good offensive team, but they're a sieve from a goals against. So I'm picking the Columbus Blue Jackets. That is the team to watch for me.
Okay, in the East, yeah, I agree with you. The Blue Jackets and setting aside the Penguins, who finished in the 5th spot, also had a lot of injuries and one game another way, and all of a sudden they're in the group of 4 rather than in the play-in round. But outside of the Penguins and the Blue Jackets, like you mentioned, I got to say, watch out for Florida. A lot of young legs on that team, a lot of speed, and don't count Sergei Bobrovsky in the I know that's kind of a dreaded name to call upon here in Columbus, but don't count him out, when he gets in the playoffs. I know he didn't have the season that he would have liked to have had, or that the Panthers would have liked him to have had. But I think maybe this few months off, this break has been good for Sergei, and I think we're going to see him bounce back in a big way.
Yeah. So Duster, do you think that did he eclipse the 900s save percentage up to this point? Is he still at an 890?
I think he finished right at 900 on the save percentage. So, but he's, when he was with the Jackets, he was up around a 920, 922, 923, somewhere right in that range. So it's been a bit of a drop off. What about the West? In the Western Conference, outside of the top 4 teams, which I know you're a big Dallas fan, and they're in the top 4, but I'm going to go with Winnipeg. I think if they get past that first series with Calgary, I think they're going to be a team to watch. Again, because of their goalie. I think Connor Hellebuck is the real deal. I think he's a little bit better in net than Big Save Dave, who's been great for Calgary as well. But Connor Hellebuck, I think, is going to be the key. And if they get past Calgary, I think they're going to be a team to watch out for in the West. How about you?
I gotta agree with that as well. Winnipeg is that sleeper in the Western Conference that really nobody's talking about. But when you talk on both sides of the puck, offensive and defense, they're very solid. I would agree with that.
Well, good. Let's move on to the next question here for the sake of time. What do you see as the Blue Jackets, as a key for the Blue Jackets? Maybe 1 or 2 things for the Jackets as we go into the Toronto series that are important.
Well, I can say that without question that they need to get off to a good start. Just from a offensive goal scoring standpoint. We all know that they've got a formidable defense. We need to make sure that whichever goalie that Torts wants to start, I think it'll be Elvis. I think that he needs to get some early action. He's an emotional player. I think that him getting in the game early, making a couple of stops, and them getting on the board first is going to be a key with them. It's a short series, so we're talking 5 games. You got to get on it. There's no time where you can give up. You give up a cheap goal.
Yep, I agree with you. I don't think we can let Toronto off to a 3-0 lead in the first period on us like we did last year, and hope to come back from that.
Sure.
A couple other things I see as the goal. Obviously, the big systemic one, the 1-2-2 forecheck, and staying above the puck that worked so successfully last year against Tampa. I think Tampa and Toronto are very similar teams and can be pressured into making some mistakes in their own zone with a strong 1-2-2 forecheck. And the Jackets are going to have to use their speed. And I think defensively, I mean, we all know the Jones and Werenski pairing, 2 of the top 10 defensemen in hockey. Probably, in my opinion, I know it's arguable, but I think they're the best defensive pairing in hockey. But I think the key for the Blue Jackets defensively is going to be that Savvy and Gavi pairing, because Toronto is able to run out 2, even 3 strong goal-scoring lines. And we know Zach and Seth will be matched up against the top line, but there's still plenty of firepower on that second line. And Savvy and Gavi, I think, are going to be the key to that.
Right.
Let's go with some predictions. What do you think the 5 seed Pittsburgh against Montreal, the 12 seed? We'll just run through these quickly in the East. Pittsburgh and Montreal.
Well, I think Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. Anytime you have 2 words, Sidney Crosby, on your team, that in itself is going to be a formidable team to come. I just don't think that Montreal has the firepower, to be honest, to stick with them. I would be very surprised if this thing went to a 4th game.
That's exactly what I said. In addition to Crosby, Pittsburgh with Malkin and Gensel and Letang. And it just goes on and on and on with them, the talent that they have that missed a lot of time this year. But I had Pittsburgh in 3. Carolina, the 6 seed against the Rangers, the 11 seed.
Well, we know what the Rangers are capable of doing if they're playing if they are playing their hockey like they were in December when they were just on a tear. I think that I think the Rangers are just again too deep, 3 lines. And I think the player to watch is Zibanejad. He's a force, along with probably one of my favorite names of all time is Kako Taco, one of my faves.
How many games do you think? So you're picking the Rangers, and how many games?
I'm picking the Rangers in 3.
I had the Rangers in 5. I think that's going to be a strong series all around. Islanders 7 seed and Panthers 10 seed.
Well, that's that toss-up game. They're very similar in style. I'm going to have to go with my heart, and I really want to see Bob. I would do well, get through that first series. I'd love to meet this guy in the playoffs, just because I think so much of him, and of course I want to beat him. So I'm going to pick Florida. I'm going to pick Florida in 4.
That's the same thing I had. I had Florida in 4 too. I think the Islanders, sort of slow plotting style, very effective defensively. They are. I think it caught up with them a little bit towards the end of, back when we had hockey before the pandemic. Remember those days?
Yes, the good old days, we call it.
But I think they were kind of fading there a little bit towards the end of the regular season, and I've got Florida in 4 also. Now the big one, without being homers, maybe take a pass on this one, but you got the Toronto 8-seeded Maple Leafs against the Columbus Blue Jackets, the 9 seed in the East. So real quickly, who's your pick in that, and how many games?
Well, I'm going with Columbus. I'm going to go with them as 4 as well. I just think that the offense of Toronto is probably going to end up stealing at least 1 game. I just think that our overall depth from a defensive standpoint, and defense for me wins championships. And I can go all the way back to the teams that I know, the New Jersey Devils, the Dallas Stars. They won these games on defense. So I'm picking the Blue Jackets here, buddy.
Me too. I had the Blue Jackets in 4 as well. We'll get into some other thoughts here in a second. Let's move over to the West for a second. Edmonton, the 5 seed versus the 12 seeded Chicago Blackhawks.
Well, the Chicago Blackhawks has, I think there's guys on that team that are our age, buddy. And I won't completely count them out. I am picking Edmonton to win the series in 4. They're just too deep. They have so much talent, and the top 2 lines, the top 2 lines is unreal. And Connor McDavid and Draisaitl is on a completely different planet. Having these guys, they double shift. They're young, and they're not afraid. They are not afraid to go down in front of a puck. I watched a couple of games with them this year. I think Edmonton is going to take the series. It's going to be a brutal series for them. They're going to get beat up because Chicago likes to play rough.
I agree. I had Edmonton in 4 games as well. Like you said, I mean, McDavid and Draisaitl, you don't need to really say any more than that. Unfortunately, I think Darnell Nurse and their defense overall and their goaltending is a bit of a liability to them. I don't think they get past the first round, but I think they take Chicago in 4 games. Moving on to Nashville, the 6 seed versus Arizona, the 11 seed. Arizona's general manager resigned today, if you hadn't heard.
No, I had not heard that, strangely enough. But that won't matter. I think he saw the writing on the wall and wanted to get out before he was completely embarrassed and unable to get a job in the NHL. I think that Nashville is going to take the series in 3. They're just too deep with great goaltending. Arizona's got some rebuilding, and they may be playing for the draft.
And I think I had Nashville as well. I had Nashville in 5 games. I think Arizona's a good structural team. I think they're very well coached, but I think Nashville gets past them. I think Nashville is strong defensively, although not as strong as they were a few years back when they made it to the finals against Pittsburgh. Yeah. But I still think they've got a lot of depth defensively, and it's going to be interesting to see which are their 2 wonderful goaltenders they go with there.
Right.
Vancouver, the 7 seed, against Minnesota, the 10 seed.
Well, this is probably my way out there pick. I think Minnesota is going to take the series, and I think they're going to take the series in 5. I think that if anything, that particular town needs something to hold on to. I think the team is playing for the fans. It's been a rough couple of months there, in Minneapolis-St. Paul area. So I look for them to be playing on raw emotion. I think they're going to take the series in 5.
Yep, that's exactly what I had too. I had Minnesota in 5. And the last series in the West, the 8th-seeded Calgary Flames and the 9th-seeded Winnipeg Jets, the Battle of Canada.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the funnest series to watch. I think that both have a lot of young talent. Really looking forward to watching these young guys go at it. So I'm going to go with unbelievable. I know you're probably going to go with Winnipeg, but I'm going to go with Calgary in 5.
That's the only one we've differed on out of all these, other than the 2 of them that we had different number of games. But, obviously I'm going with Winnipeg in that. I have them as the team to beat outside of the top 4 in the West. I have Winnipeg in 4 games. Let's move on to closing thoughts here. During the whole quarantine without hockey, I decided I'd watch a little C-SPAN to kind of fill in my hockey there. And I got to tell you, watching C-SPAN is just like watching hockey. The Senators suck. Anyway, move on a little bit here. Finish up with some thoughts, some other thoughts about, let's talk a little bit more specifically about the Blue Jackets. Anything that you want to see? Obviously, a victory for the Jackets, but any other final closing thoughts you have?
Well, I want to see. I really want to see how Boone Jenner affects this series. He's such a great draw man, and I want to see him going up against these top lines. The Marners, the Austin Matthews. That to me is going to be more exciting. I like watching a good defensive hockey team. I like the physicality of that. I think Boone Jenner he's not a young guy and he's not an old guy. He's kind of a tweener. So I really want to see what he can do. I know that he struggled a bit down the stretch, but again, who didn't with the amount of injuries? We're back healthy. Outside of having one player that's not that at this particular juncture isn't slated to play. I think that Boone Jenner is going to make an incredible difference going up against this high-scoring Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, well, Boone's my favorite player on the Jackets, so I'm excited about that too. I think it's going to be interesting to see the line combos. I know with Torts, those are subject to change every single shift. I like some of the lines that I see coming out of the summer camp and everything. Especially, I'm excited to see Liam Foudy and Eric Robinson play together on probably Riley Nash's wings. And that's got to be if that's not the two fastest wings in hockey with those two out there together, I don't know who would be faster than them. But it'll maybe get Riley's legs going a little bit, trying to keep up with the young, speedy guys out there. So
yeah, he may be coming in that second wave.
Yep. Well, anyway, thank you for tuning in to the first ever Duster and Bender show. It's been fun, Bender. Great to see you as always. Hopefully you have safe travels back from Toronto there, enjoying the rink, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later.